Thank you for staying with us. As promised, we'll be speaking about Caribbean jazz and taking it to the world. On this Zoom, we have Anthony Maillard, who is a writer, photographer, musician, and so much more. Good morning, Anthony.
Good morning, Dominic. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. So let's get straight into it. Tell us, what is the state of Caribbean jazz as we stand right now?
The state of Caribbean jazz. Wow. It's progressing,
Okay.
progressing slowly. As you know, this weekend they have a very large jazz concert coming up, and there's several jazz concerts. We are actually what was called in the jazz festival season.
Yes.
So we have Jazz at the Greens this weekend. We have a I Am Jazz Festival next week. We have North Coast Jazz coming up. We have Tobago Jazz. It's flourishing rightly in this season of jazz in Trinidad and Tobago.
Right, and rightly so. You said we have a lot of festivals, a lot of events, festivals coming up. Do you see where there may be a gap, though? You may have the generation before that's heavily engaged in jazz, but then the upcoming young persons, are you seeing that they are interested in that particular genre and they're making waves in it, or you see the need to bring the young people into jazz or bring jazz to them?
Well, I think the latter is correct. We need to bring the young people into jazz. The challenge for the younger people is and for the elder musicians, really there are not many places to perform.
Okay.
And it's not a widely accepted genre. So if we're not out there playing as musicians and presenting it to the public, then how are they going to learn about the music and how wonderful it is? The other challenge too is getting airplay.
Yes.
We're not as promoted on the air as most other genres throughout Trinidad and Tobago. So we had I think we had two jazz stations in Trinidad a while ago, and they've both now gone defunct. So the musicians really have no place to present their wares, so to speak, to the younger generation. So one of the goals of Anthony's Cari-Jazz is to get the younger generation involved in the jazz, because there are a lot of really good players out there who really have nowhere to play.
Right. How do we begin to bridge that gap?
By giving them a place to present their skills. I mean, a lot of young musicians, go to school, go to university, are very apt at reading music, very apt at the instrument, and I think we need to bring them out of just practicing at home or playing with their friends in a garage, as we like to say, in a garage band, and give them a place to present their wares. And Anthony's Cari-Jazz is making a step forward in that regard in two formats, really. One, we're having the open mic session so that they can come and play a song or two to their friends and to an audience, to an open audience, and get some practice playing live and get some feedback from the audience. And two, we've launched something called the Anthony's Cari-Jazz Student Program Award.
Yes. Tell us more about the program.
The program is really a two-part program. The main part of it is that we want to invest in a young student, in their third or fourth year of music in university, and give them a bursary that would help them invest in themselves and have their career move forward. So we're asking students to submit a video of themselves playing. We will have a panel. I'd hate to say the word judge, but judge those videos. And what will happen then is that the winner will receive a $10,000 bursary to help their career. They would also receive gifts and prizes from various sponsors and recording time. So it's really about giving them an opportunity, a step forward.
Right. Now, before we go into, how this program would run and all of that and the upcoming event that you have, tell us about you and your passion for jazz and Caribbean jazz, because you do a really good job of promoting on social media, the jazz players, the jazz musicians, the singers that we have. So tell us where this passion came from.
I'm an old musician, retired, so to speak. So, it really came to me about 4 years ago that, we have a jazz idiom in Trinidad that is not well promoted and not well received, especially during the pandemic. So as I say, it came to me that one of the things we should do is start promoting ourselves, promoting our music. We have excellent players like Theron Shaw, Ming, Elan Parley, Tony Woodruff, Vonette Bigfoot, all the top stars, so to speak. And I hate to mention a few and not the others, but we have a lot of great entertainers in Trinidad and Tobago, and they're not receiving the worldwide recognition. So one of my goals in starting the program was definitely to promote Caribbean jazz to the world. And once I opened that onion and started peeling it back, so to speak,
Right.
I discovered a lot of other Caribbean artists who are crying for, let's say, attention. You know, they a lot of them have played for the president. A lot of them of the United States. A lot of them have played in worldwide concerts, and yet still we still don't have that recognition. You know, so the challenge in the recognition is, we don't have CDs anymore.
Right.
How do they promote their craft? How do they promote their wares, so to speak? The festivals are not hiring a lot of the jazz players. Even the jazz festivals, some of the jazz festivals have more R&B players than jazz players.
Right. I
So
was
the
going to ask
drive
you
was
about
really to
that.
get all of these people in front of
Yes.
media and in front of the world.
Yes. I was going to ask you about that because we see with the jazz festival coming up, there's reggae artists, there are conscious artists, there are R&B artists as well that you mentioned. So how do you feel about that? And what do you think we need to do to improve the way that we go about, even setting who is going to be performing at these festivals?
But clearly, Dominic, you're trying to get me into trouble this early morning.
I'm not, but you're talking about taking Caribbean jazz to the world. And, before we take it to the world, we're taking it to the region. We have to appreciate it at home. So we're talking
Right.
about really appreciating what Caribbean jazz is to us and how
Correct.
do we, promote and highlight that. Yes.
Right. So we really have two sides of the coin, right? We have the artist who wants to play at all the festivals, because they think they're good enough to do it, and then we have the promoter who has to pay the artist.
Right.
So in order to pay the artist, the promoters are now feeling, well, they have to bring in some outside resources, some outside help, some outside attractions, and bring in the local artists who are maybe seen quite frequently locally, but have them on the bill also. So I think that there's a balance. There's a balance whereby we have to look at it from the promoter's perspective, whereby they're going to bring in a reggae act and have a jazz act on the stage also,
Right.
and have jazz evenings in a festival. Generally, in Tobago Jazz Festival, it's a week-long or 4-day-long festival.
Yes.
So I know previously they would have had a pan jazz night, they would have had a jazz on the beach night, those sorts of things. So they are doing those activities around the festival. So it's a double-edged sword, and I think we have to respect the promoters' opportunity or chance to attract the audiences by bringing in these foreign acts.
Yes.
And some of the foreign acts will fill the bill and bring the attention to the local acts also.
Yes.
But there is a balance, and as we see with the St. Lucia Jazz Festival and other jazz festivals, you have to have a really good balance of bringing in an R&B type artist balanced with a jazz artist. As with the Caribbean Jazz Festival this weekend, jazz artists on the green, we have Ilan Trotman, who's an excellent saxophonist from Barbados.
Okay.
We also have Andy Norell, who is an international panelist. At the same time, we have other local artists who are performing, doing a great job on the bill. So there's a good balance, I think, going forward. When you lean towards too much of the R&B, you might get the crowd, but then you're not really promoting the jazz idiom too much.
Okay, and switching gears back to the program that you have going on for the Caribbean Jazz Student Program. This is a big undertaking. It's a good initiative. It's a big undertaking. How are you raising funds for this? Tell us about the upcoming event, that will help, the series of events that will help raise funds for this.
About a year ago, I had the idea of giving back to the community, giving back to the students. How do we get the students involved in music
Right.
and in Caribbean jazz? There are lots of students who post videos on YouTube or on TikTok or wherever playing, showing that they're playing well. So we decided to form a team and discuss a bursary, discuss a fund, and how we would select, really select the best student or best 4 students to move forward in a competition of sorts. So the program is really a 2-part program. One is a workshop where we would present. We would have various veterans in the business
Okay.
give a workshop to the students as they learn and go. You know, kind of a workshop sort of things you don't learn at school. You know,
Right.
things they don't teach you in the university.
Yes.
By experienced players. The second part of the workshop would be, of course, the competition. So we're looking at having a lot of entrants to the competition, viewing their videos and selecting the top players to move forward in the final round. And that final round will be judged by 4 or 5 judges, local judges, deciding to, you know, who is the best playing student. That best playing student, of course, would receive the award. And we hope this would be an annual event.
Okay.
The Jazz in the Cafe Jazz at the Cafe, which we're promoting right now,
Yes.
is a 9-part series happening this month at Kafe Blue on Ryson Road.
Mm-hmm.
And our first performer will be Mangal Patasa and Panta. And proceeds from that function will go towards the fund for the student award.
Okay. Very good. So give us some more details on that event. You know, when is it happening, date and time, and, you know, where persons can get tickets, more information on you online, and so on.
Okay, so the first thing I want to say about the event is that we're encouraging the young players, musicians, and students to come and participate in what we call the open mic. So there's an open mic for the musicians to show their wares. The concert series is at Kafe Blue. It costs $150 to enter. You can pay at the door. There are 2 tickets to the North Coast Jazz as a door prize.
Okay.
For more information, you can call 477-2242, which is the Kafe Blue number. It really allows local artists. What we want to do is allow local artists to explore the Caribbean jazz sounds and enjoy themselves and learn to play in front of a live audience so they can advance. We're going to provide a trio of musicians for the headline performer at some point in time.
Okay.
Like I said, our first band is Mangal Patasa and Panta. And I mean, everybody knows Mangal. It's a fusion band that features the sitar, tabla, and steel pan.
Yes.
So Mangal is always exciting. This is his event prior to the North Coast Jazz event, which is happening on May 27th. Mm-hmm. So we're looking forward to great things. But the format of the show is really about the students performing for an hour before, and then having the main act, Mangal, perform for the final hour.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much, Anthony, for joining us. Where on social media can persons find more about you, as well as the, you know, promotion that you do of local jazz artists?
Well, we are on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Okay. Soon to be on TikTok. Okay. As we continue to grow. The handle is really Anthony's Cari-Jazz, as you see on the screen right now. Yes. If you go to any one of these mediums and type in Anthony's Cari-Jazz, you will get to us on any of those mediums. And on Facebook, on YouTube, you'll find that there's a list of a playlist of songs going back 3 or 4 years that you can enjoy Caribbean jazz music.
Okay. All right. We appreciate you. Thank you for joining us. All the best for this initiative.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Thank you for having me, Dominic.
Yes. We take a short break. When we come back, we have lots more in store for you. Stay with us.